Shabbat Shalom. I know that a parent is not supposed to have a favorite child. My parents got away with this by calling me their favorite daughter. I have two brothers, but no sisters, so that works out just fine. And I also know that a rabbi is not supposed to have a favorite Torah portion, but I sort of do. And this week's is it. Actually, last week and this week, Vaishlach. And I love that even though these portions feel like I know them like the back of my hand, I still find something new in them every single time I go to read them. So this time, I was inspired by some studying that I'm doing with the Institute for Jewish Spirituality, IJS, and the teachers this year brought up something that I had never noticed before. So I'm going to share that with you. So we are in the story of Jacob, who is anxiously awaiting the experience of meeting his brother once again after they've grown up, lived lives, built families, and he has not seen his brother since the days when he stole Esau's birthright and firstborn blessing, and he's pretty panicked. So I have always seen the text that describes his actions in a fairly straightforward way. He scatters his holdings so that if Esau attacks one, the others will have warning and be able to either run or fight for themselves. And he hopes for the best, but he prepares for the worst. But then comes verse 17. After he lists the gifts that he's preparing to assuage his own guilt and hopefully prevent the violence from his brother that he expects, the verse says this: "These he put in charge of his servants, drove by drove, and he told his servants, 'Go on ahead and keep a distance between droves.'" Keep a pause between droves. Now, that doesn't seem so odd, right? Keeping a distance between one and the next means he has a chance, if he needs to pivot. But that message has already been communicated earlier in the text. And while Torah may seem, once in a while, to be repetitive, it never actually is. So we have to ask, what new information is being communicated by this particular verse? What is being communicated is this. Here's the question. What is it that's being separated? As it turns out, Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav comments that it's not just mixed herds, but specifically the ox and the donkey that are being separated. In other words, it's not separating herd from herd that's important. It's separating between two different kinds of animals. Now, one reason could be that these two animals plow differently with different strength, so that it would be a hardship for them to do this together. And one would be overburdened, or one would be able to graze while the other couldn't, and so on and so forth. But Rabbi Nachman also points out that each of these animals represents something particular in the Torah. He cites the verse from Deuteronomy that states that we cannot plow with an ox and a donkey together. And he says that each of these is a particular destructive force. The ox corresponds to Esau and the donkey to Ishmael. And together, they are responsible for the sum total of all of our troubles as the people of Israel, because each is responsible for Israel being exiled throughout all of the generations of our history. So together, the ox and the donkey represent the entire concept of exile. Together, these troubles are too heavy. It's impossible to bear troubles that are exponential like this. Like all of our troubles come raining down upon us all at once, and the mind and the soul, they cannot compute how to deal with all of this. There's no space in between them. There's no pause between the herds, no relief from the crushing weight and pain and suffering. And in addition, combining them confuses the issues in front of us. He says our hearts are bent by this. They are distorted to the point where we no longer even understand how to cry out to God in prayer. And once we've been disconnected from God and prayer, then our troubles truly are magnified and intensified, and our suffering becomes codified in our bodies. When the troubles are so intense, we begin to think of ourselves as merely victims of these troubles. How much has befallen me? How much this is someone else's fault? It's too much for me. The system of life here is broken. This is the truest danger of our troubles piling up. So he says, we have to separate the herds. We have to make space in our mind to find some kind of expansiveness, to cultivate gratitude, even within the individual troubles themselves. When you lift one of these troubles at a time, it will not be too much for you. Rabbi Nachman surely knew of this. He himself suffered from depression, and this depression weighed heavily upon him. And he knew that it was his duty, his obligation to fight this, to see the world differently. He relied upon this practice of separating one thing out from another, one trouble from another, and by putting down the burdens so that he could pick only one up at a time. In a world with such heavy burdens, it's crucial that we take them one at a time so that we are strong enough to face each of them. But it's more than that. In a world that tends towards seeing ourselves as victims, it is crucial that we form a system in which that does not happen. People who see themselves as strong and capable become more strong and capable, and people who see themselves as weak and victimized become only more weak and victimized. So let's do as Jacob did. Separate the herds, place a pause in between each, and face the next indicated thing one by one until you've courageously battled all of the troubles at hand. Shabbat Shalom.